Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon when you are watching this video lecture. In the earlier session of discussion related to process costing, we discussed about some of the salient features of process costing and in which type of industries that is used. Also, how to prepare process accounts where materials are inputted in one process, some labor and overhead expenses are incurred in that process. Maybe some loss of normal loss or abnormal loss might also be there, and that is transferred. The end result of that process is transferred to another process, and so on to another process, and so on to finished goods. Generally 2 to 3 processes will be given in the exam. We have discussed about the treatment of normal loss, abnormal gain, and how to calculate abnormal loss or abnormal gain, and ultimately where it will go. Also, most importantly, the computation of the cost per unit of the goods which are transferred to the next process, whatever they are, and also abnormal loss or gain, which is same. That is a very important computational aspect also we discussed in the yesterday's class. But in the examples so far we have discussed, one of the common points is there was no work in progress. But definitely in the process costing, one of the very important challenges is when work in progress is also there, then the valuation of that work in progress has to be done carefully. Why? Because as the name itself indicates, that is work in progress. It is not fully completed. So how much of that is completed is something which is difficult in reality also to identify in each process. So certain times it may so happen that the stage of completion may be only related to certain materials used in that work, or maybe some labor expenses are also involved. But how much stage of completion of work in progress is there is something that has to be observed. Of course, in real life it is definitely much more complicated, but as far as problems and theoretical discussion like what we do here, hypothetical situations are concerned, it can be more, I would say, arithmetic than complicated. It is definitely one of the important calculations, no doubt about it. But at the same time, by understanding the flow of inputs and outputs, we can easily make out how to compute the value of work in progress. First of all, for understanding this, we need to understand what is happening in a process. In a process, there is already a opening work in progress coming from the past period, and there is some cost that is incurred during this period. Both opening work in progress and the cost incurred during this period has to be split between closing work in progress and completed units. So if it is to be just understood in a simple diagrammatic form, when the process is beginning in this period, it is not starting from scratch. It is already having some opening work in progress. Let us call this as BWIP, beginning work in progress, which is already there. And let us understand this from quantity point of view separately and money point of view separately. There are certain number of units which were already in work in progress. First, let us start quantity. So there is some quantity of goods which are there in the beginning work in progress. Then definitely certain materials are introduced during this process. Some materials are introduced during this process. So whatever work has happened, it has happened, and after the completion of the work, once the work is complete, there also there will not be total work that is complete. it will be having once again two parts. One part is ending work in progress and the other part is completed and transferred to next process. So when there is a beginning work in progress plus certain units which are introduced, both of them will be ultimately split between ending work in progress and completed and transferred units. So quantity wise, that's what it is. There is something work that is happening in the beginning plus some units are introduced. Then what goes to the next process, completed and transferred to the next process, and ending work in progress. This physical flow has to be first of all matched. This is matching of the physical flow of goods in terms of quantities, right? That has to be done. That can be done easily in the details given in the question. But when the additional points will emerge here is, so when there is beginning work in progress and some units are introduced, it is not going to happen only ending work in progress and completed and transferred units. There is going to be some loss also, quite possible. And that loss can be once again normal loss also, abnormal loss also, quite possible. So these all things have to be accounted for. All things have to be looked at while valuing the ending work in progress. Why ending work in progress? Because the computation of ending work in progress and the computation of cost of the units completed and transferred also depends upon which method we are following. So first thing is quantities. Definitely it will match. Whatever is input, whatever is opening stock in the form of work in progress plus whatever is inputted should be definitely equal to units going out and ending work in progress. Of course it has to be equal to. There is no other option. So physical flow will be definitely there. That is one part. But not only that. While accumulating the costs related to them, we need to have a choice of broadly two methods. One is FIFO, the other one is weighted average method. Simple average and all we don't use. Directly weighted average method we use here. What is the difference here? When we say, let us say weighted average method, some beginning work in progress is there. Certain units are introduced, some work is done. All just mixed, everything is mixed together. And then that is cost transferred to next process and split between next process completed and transferred units and ending work in progress and losses as the case may be, normal and abnormal losses. So there is no need of separating the beginning work in progress if we are using weighted average method. But if we use FIFO method, beginning work in progress has to be separately calculated. Why? Because when we say FIFO, it is assumed that first of all, whatever the completed units that are going out, they are not going out from the introduced units. They are going out from the beginning work in progress which is completed now. So for example, if the beginning work in progress already in the last period completed 40%, let us say, now 60% would be taken as completed during this period. This is current period, 60% we have to take as if it is completed during the current period, because 40% was already completed in last period. That is when we take FIFO. In case we take weighted average, we don't need to distinguish between beginning work in progress and units introduced. All are just assumed to be mixed together. And only thing is ending work in progress and units completed and transferred to the next process will have to be calculated with the cost accumulation of everything at one place. But when FIFO method is used, we have to make sure the remaining work of beginning work in progress is done during this process. That is an assumption, but that has to be made sure. So that is one point of difference between FIFO and weighted average. So first of all, what is this work in progress and why do we have this much of separate discussion on work in progress in process costing? The simple reason, the name itself indicates work in progress. Let us say the beginning work in progress already got completed 50%, already got completed. Then naturally the remaining 50% is happening in the current period. So if we take FIFO, we will take that remaining 50% as if it is completed in the current period. If it is weighted average, we don't worry between beginning or introduced, freshly introduced, work is work. So weighted average does not distinguish separately. If we use FIFO, we need to distinguish how much is the work done already on the beginning work in progress and how much is the work done on the remaining units which are introduced and now completed. But all the units are not completed, there is ending work in progress also. So whether it is beginning work in progress or ending work in progress, one point common is they are not complete. They are only a part completed units, 40, 50, 60, whatever, depending upon the question. So when we calculate the costs per unit, we cannot calculate the cost per full unit because the full unit is not yet ready. It is still under process. That is why the work in progress calculation involves computation of equivalent units of production. That is the most important point in the computation of cost of. Ultimately, our final job or final task is to find out the value of ending work in progress and units completed and transferred to the next process. Losses, of course, will be coming and going. But ultimate objective is this, ending work in progress and cost of units completed and transferred. But how to do that is a difference. So keeping the difference of FIFO and weighted average apart, irrespective of that, for work in progress, always there should be equivalent units of production. For example, if there are 1000 units of work in progress which are complete by 50% only, we cannot say there are 1000 units. We can say only there are 500 units. Why? Because only 50% of them are complete. So what is the equivalent units of 1000? If they were complete, though they are not complete, we are imagining that they are complete. So that is why we are not calling them completed units. We are calling them equivalent units. So what is the equivalent units of 1000 units of work in progress? That is 500 units. If they were finished goods, but they are not finished goods. So only for computational purposes, we will compute the equivalent units of production of work in progress. That is very, very important aspect in the valuation or even identification of work in progress. When we calculate equivalent units of production, once again there will be another complication. Why? Because the work in progress 50% what we said, is it 50% for the materials also, labor also, overheads also? That we don't know. Sometimes there can be different stages of work in progress. For example, if you take, let us say, a bench has to be manufactured through different processes. Wood, 100% has to be introduced at the beginning. Cutting and all the people will do, that may take time. But in one process where the wood cutting is the process, 100% of wood should be ready. You cannot start with 40% of the wood and call that as work in progress. Wood should be in front of you to cut it first. Like that, different types of manufacturing industries will have different requirements when the materials are introduced. Some materials may be introduced in the beginning of the process. Some materials may be introduced at the middle of the process or end of the process. Differences will be there in reality. But once again, we cannot identify all those realities. Our limitations are there. We are sitting in the classrooms and exam halls. So what we have to do? Naturally, how much percentage of materials is complete will be given in the question itself. For example, if it is saying 100% of materials is complete, complete does not mean materials is something that became finished goods already. If it is finished good, it is not called work in progress, first of all. Materials complete means what? Materials is introduced already. Materials is in front of us, though the finished good is not ready. Let us say manufacturing of a bench requires, say, 25 square feet of wood. It is there already in front of us. Does it make it a bench? No, it will not make it a bench. But is the cost of materials already incurred? Yes, 100% incurred. In front of us, material is there. But that does not mean it has become a finished good. But in the work in progress, what is the cost of materials that has already been incurred? 100% in this example. Like that, it could be any percentage. Same way for labor and overheads also, sometimes separately given, sometimes put together given. And this has to be also remembered. What can we call labor and overheads put together as? Conversion costs. The conversion costs also certain percentage can be given. Let us say they are complete by 40% if it says. Then the equivalent units is not same for materials cost and labor and overhead cost. Why? Because if you take the same 1000 units of WIP, 1000 units of WIP is there, but as far as materials is concerned, it is 1000. As far as labor and overheads is concerned, it is equivalent to only 400 units, because only 40% is complete. 40% of the labor and overheads is only introduced. Complete, don't take it physically, really. If really it is complete, it is not called work in progress. Work in progress itself means it is not complete. When you say 100% complete, that means materials is 100% introduced. When you say 40% of labor and overheads is complete, to that extent only work is done. Still 60% is supposed to be done, which is pending. So, in the process costing, this equivalent units of production, particularly separate element-wise calculation of equivalent units of production is very important. Calculation is not a difficult thing. Number of units of work in progress will be given, multiply with the percentage of completion, you will get equivalent unit of production. That is not the point. But the point to understand is what is happening in the process. In the process, there is a beginning work in progress and certain units are introduced. All of them have been worked together. Some work has been done on them. Then within that some goods lost, whether for normal or abnormal reasons. And at the end of the period, there are certain units which are really completed and transferred to the next process. And there are certain units which are still staying as work in progress at the end of the period, called as ending work in progress. This process we have to understand. This logic of flow we have to understand. But okay, this is common irrespective of FIFO-LIFO. Physical flow is common. But FIFO or weighted average, where it will have a difference. When we calculate the equivalent units of production, the calculation will be different. In case we use FIFO, we will take definitely the beginning work in progress, the balance amount of work to be done during this period, because we definitely assume that the beginning work in progress which is there at the beginning of the period would have been definitely 100% completed. That is why first in first out. So work will be done first on this, then on this. So in case of FIFO, whatever the remaining work to be done on the beginning work in progress, that has to be first calculated. Then at the end of the period, whatever the work in progress is still remaining, that has to be calculated, which means whatever the units introduced, how much of that is transferred to next process and how much of that is staying still in the ending work in progress can be segregated. But one point here is beginning work in progress definitely completed and transferred to next process. That is pakka. Beginning work in progress is not going to ending work in progress in FIFO. But in case of weighted average, we don't distinguish at all. We don't care about where from it is coming, whether it is beginning work in progress or freshly introduced during the process. What matters is ultimately how many units are completed and transferred, how many units are staying still in the ending work in progress. But while doing so, units of ending work in progress for a weighted average, we have to take equivalent units of production depending upon the percentage of completion for each element of cost. If we use FIFO, we have to take equivalent units of production not only for ending work in progress but also for beginning work in progress, but not for the completed percentage. There is a point to be noted. In case of FIFO, what percentage we have to take for this period? Remaining percentage. If it was already 40% complete, now we have to take 60%. If it was already 80% complete, now we have to take 20% work done during this period. So this beginning work in progress equivalent units of production will be required to be calculated only for FIFO, whereas ending work in progress will be calculated whether it is FIFO or weighted average. So this is the equivalent units of production calculation, which is the most important aspect in the process costing. Why this all work in progress is having this all different things is because of nature of the work. Work is not yet complete, and in that not completed work also the cost is not incurred uniformly. Certain portion of the cost in the form of materials might be incurred more, and labor and overheads may be incurred less. So naturally some people will have this doubt. Sir, what if labor and overhead is 100% and materials is 20%? Think about it. 1 minute you will understand how ridiculous that is. How can labor and overhead be? Work is done, material is there only, lying idle. What material will do it to itself? Nothing it can do. So possibility of material being 100% and labor being partially complete, it is understandable. Labor is 100% done, material is still 40% means, okay, 60% material later you will introduce. What it will do to itself? Who is going to work on that when labor is already 100%? So that possibility itself is not there. That is illogical. So not like mathematically blindly we have to do. You need to understand what is happening. For that, you just imagine a small process, something like manufacturing of a bench or a furniture. Let us say somebody wants to manufacture an iron safe. Iron safe to be manufactured, steel should be there fully. 100% material should be there in front of you. Maybe within that some racks inside them, they need not be introduced in the beginning. Let us say 80% is enough in that case. So 80% of materials is enough to be introduced at this level. But before the safe is complete, finally the racks inside the safe also can be fitted. Then the 100% material will also be complete. Then it will not be work in progress, then it will be a completed unit. So when we are saying work in progress, we should not imagine a completed unit. We have to understand that it is called work in progress. It is work in progress because it is not completed. Then only it is work in progress. So some work is still pending on that. The question is about how much work is done and how much work is still pending on that. If materials also is still pending, quite possible. Labor and overheads will definitely be pending. Definitely, 100%, guaranteed. So why they will be pending? If they are not pending, then that is not finished. That is not a work in progress. That would have been completed, by the way. So conversion cost, the labor and overheads, if there is something still to be done, that is what is work in progress. Nothing big deal. That is about work in progress and equivalent units of production. Conceptual point to be definitely remembered. For this purpose, physical flow understanding is very easy. That is important also. So that is the reason why the work in progress calculation looks like little bit of complex in real life. Actually, I would not say it is complex in solving the problems. It is more or less, I would say, mechanical here. But in reality, it is really difficult, because what happens in reality? Who will tell us this 100%, 40%, 60%? It is very difficult to gauge. And even if you look at that way, there are like 100 safes being manufactured. In them, some of them might have had 100% material, but only 40% labor done. Some of them might have had only 20% material and 10% labor done. There will be different types of units which are under process being manufactured. Different percentages of material, different percentages of labor and overhead would have been incurred on them. Work being still done. It is practically very difficult task to really identify the valuation of work in progress in manufacturing industries. It is a challenging task, no doubt about it. But again, the point is, it is all in reality. For us, the question itself will give us all these percentages. So what is the great job we do? Multiply that percentage with the number of units of work in progress. That's all. We get equivalent units of production. That's it. That is how work in progress will have to be understood. Then equivalence units have to be calculated simply by multiplying whatever the actual number of units in the process of manufacture, that is work in progress, multiply with percentage of work completed. That is a great job we are doing. Multiplication of number of units of work in progress into percentage of work completed. For example, say 25% of work is completed. On the average units still under process, let us say 200 such units are still under process. That means what is the equivalent value of that units? Equivalent units, 200 into 25%, that will be 50. In an imaginary way, what we are telling about, sir, there are 200 units which are in process, what would be the equivalent number of units of finished goods if they were complete? They are not really complete. If they were complete, how much number of completed units they would have represented? They would have represented 50 completed units. So the cost of 50 completed units is equal to 200 units of work in progress. That is why we are converting number of units of work in progress into equivalent completed units by multiplying the number of units of work in progress with the percentage of completion. And this table you have to definitely practice also, and you have to do lot of times without looking at it on paper, because this is definitely going to be there in the examination question. Without this we cannot compute the cost per equivalent unit, and process costing is not possible without that. Earlier we never had equivalent units problem because there was no work in progress. The moment when work in progress is there, the equivalent units concept will come. So look at this inflow and outflow, how this table has to be created. This table you have to definitely practice on paper number of times. First thing first, there is one left side column, let us say this is all one particular area that is related to input. That is there, it will be there always. So that is input details. What will be there in that? Always there will be only two things. Input mein what will be there? Either there is opening work in progress or there are units introduced during the period. Number, this is, we are talking about units. So how many units of opening work in progress is there? How many units are introduced during the period? That is the total input. This is a physical goods we are talking, not rupees. This particular statement of equivalent units has nothing to do with money. No, it is only purely units and equivalent units. That's all. It is purely quantitative statement, not a monetary statement. That first of all we have to be clear. Every number is not money. So opening work in progress, first of all we have to write here number of units. And by the way, in this input things we should not worry about equivalent units and all. Input is just input for matching. So what happens to this input? Starting point is definitely opening work in progress. Certain units are introduced during this process. Fine. Total number of units are there. We'll take example, then we definitely will understand with numbers then. What happens to that? Work is done. Work is done. And finally, there has to be completed units which go to the next process. Definitely yes. But the point is, if we are using FIFO, we need to take opening work in progress also separately. Only when? Only under FIFO method. So that's the star first one. Equivalent units for opening WIP as calculated only under FIFO method. Under average method, we don't need this. This step, the entire row is not needed. And this is all about output particulars. So output particulars is one column, then units will be there one column. That units will be converted to equivalent units for three different elements of cost: material, labor and overheads. There also you will have sub columns. One is percentage and one is equivalent units. Again for labor also percentage and units. Overheads also percentage and units. If labor and overheads is mixed in the question, you can mix it also. No need to separate all the time. If it is given separately with different percentages, then you can have two different columns for labor and overheads. If not, put together labor and overheads can be called as conversion costs. Material definitely has to be shown separately. That is a very important separate item of element of cost here. So if it is FIFO, let us say opening work in progress is there. Opening work in progress is there, let us say here, just for example, 1000 units. Already 40% complete. Now how much we should take here? Remaining. That is 60% which is done during this period. So in case of opening work in progress, we should take the remaining work that was not done as if it is done during this period. But this will be there only when it is FIFO. If it is not FIFO, straight away we can have the overall number of units of opening work in progress and units introduced distributed between four common things. Four things, what are those? One is finished output. Finished output will be what? Always 100% only. No, then only it is finished. So what will be the equivalent units for finished output? Here percentage will be how much? This one 100%. This is also 100%. This is also 100%. Then only it is finished output. Otherwise it is not called finished output. Automatically it is 100%. That is first point. Second point, normal loss. Normal loss will be there only in the total. There will not be any percentages used for normal loss. For normal loss, no equivalent units are calculated. No need to calculate any equivalent units for normal loss. So equivalent units you should not just introduce in the statement of equivalent production. Only full number of units only will be there. Why is that? Because anyway they are going to be absorbed by good units. So normal loss does not have any equivalent units. That is one point. Second point, abnormal loss. This is also very important. Abnormal loss or abnormal gain, whatever it may be, that will be treated as 100% complete in respect of all cost elements, irrespective of the percentage of completion. They are not going to be staying in stock. Abnormal loss is not something equal to work in progress. We cannot say some percentage is only complete. No. Loss is loss. It is gone. Spoiled completely. Spoiled completely means 100% gone. So this percentage also here. So both these things, these two percentages will be always 100%, which to the completed units and abnormal loss or gain units. Normal loss will be always 0%. 0. There is nothing to be calculated as equivalent units for normal loss. Finished output is 100% complete. Abnormal loss 100% lost, not complete, 100% gone. So that is also fully taken out as if it is gone. That is by 100%. Now remaining is what? Closing work in progress. Closing work in progress, how to take the percentages? That depends upon how much work is done. Let us say materials is done 60%. You will take 60% here. Let us say labor and overheads are taken 40%, done 40% in this process. So you will take 40% here. But what is the percentage of work completed during this process, this period? That is what closing work in progress is. So closing work in progress is nothing but equivalent units of number of units of work in progress multiplied with percentage of completion. That is closing work in progress. Always these four will be there. Of course, 4 will be there means normal loss, abnormal loss, depending upon the question. But definitely, as I said already, ultimately it is all about opening work in progress plus units introduced. This is there. This has to be distributed between closing work in progress and units completed. That's it. That is ultimately the job. But in between there are variety points like normal loss, abnormal gain may be there. And if at all there is opening work in progress, remaining work to be done, if we are using FIFO, then we have to take balance of the work to be done on the opening work in progress as equivalent units in this process. Otherwise we don't. So that is about statement of equivalent units of production. Very, very important. And by the way, this is all related to number of units only. So far we are not touched the amounts. Amounts is the next level. We will discuss that. So first thing first, what are the steps in process costing? To understand it very easily, if we understand these steps, it becomes very relatively easier. So what are the points here? Ultimately, we need to first of all know the analysis of the physical flow of production units. So simple point is the total of inputs as we have taken here and the total of here, these should be matched. What is happening, that story we should know. Okay, you had some opening work in progress and you had some units introduced. What happened to them? Out of that, how much has been completed and transferred to next process? How much was normal loss? How much was abnormal loss? How much was closing work in progress? All of that has to be accounted for. All of that has to be counted. And finally, that should be matched. The physical flow has to be matched first. That is for convenience purposes. That will be helpful in solving the problems also. So how the physical flow can be matched? Simply speaking, we have beginning work in progress and there are inputs introduced during this process and outputs, which are again having two things. One are completed and one are work in progress. So there is opening work in progress plus units inputted, which are worked upon, and finally there is either closing work in progress or units completed. There is a pure physical flow of production units. Then next step 2 is what we have done just now. Calculation of equivalent units, not that too not generally. For each of the cost elements, we have to calculate equivalent units. For example, just take a number, 1000 units of work in progress are there at the end of the month. All materials are introduced at the beginning of production process. If that is what given means what? Materials is 100% complete. When materials are introduced at the beginning of the process, that means 100% materials would be there. So for materials, what is the equivalent units? 100%, that means 1000 only. Labor and overheads, 20% work is done. 20% more work is required to get completed. So read this carefully. 20% more work is required to get completed means 80% is done. So 1000 into 80%, 800 units is the equivalent units for labor and overheads. This is the next step. Once we have this, then we will introduce the amounts. That is about determination of total cost for each cost element. That will be given in the question. That is what we did earlier also. Total cost, each element, material how much total cost, labor total how much cost. Totals we know definitely. Totals is not a point. But this is a new point. Step 4. The total cost has to be calculated per equivalent unit for each cost element. So step 3 divided by number of equivalent units as calculated in step 2 gives us step 4, that is cost per equivalent unit of production for each cost element separately, material separately, labor separately, overhead separately, or sometimes labor and overheads put together. Once you have this cost per equivalent unit, ultimately we have to assign the total cost to only two things. Once again, what? One is ending work in progress, one is units completed. Of course, if there is abnormal loss or gain, that also will be there, to which the same amount of cost per unit will be assigned. We know that. Cost per unit of units completed also, abnormal loss or gain also will be same. So total cost for units completed and units transferred to the next process, that is completed and transferred to the next process, both are same. Ending work in progress, abnormal loss, all of them have to be calculated according to the cost per equivalent unit that we already calculated for each element of cost. This is the last step. Of course, ultimately we should match both the things. One is physical flow, inflow and outflow. Second is money. How much is opening work in progress? Cost plus cost of material, labor, overheads introduced and worked during this period. Total cost, if you take as a pool, that pool has to be distributed ultimately between these things. How much is units completed and transferred to the next process? How much is ending work in progress? How much is abnormal loss? That will be the way the total cost will be split. Once again the same. Ultimately the total cost is that only. Where the cost pool will come from? Cost pool will come from beginning work in progress or opening work in progress, which is already incurred in the past period, but that is also worked upon in the current period, plus fresh cost that is incurred during this period, that is in the form of materials or labor and overheads. That will have to be split. Normally that will have to be split between only two things. One is ending work in progress, second one is completed units and transferred to next. But yes, in some cases there could be abnormal loss, so abnormal loss also will have to be used in the same way. That is the essence of process costing in a nutshell. Very important conceptually to be understood, and of course the same concept what we understood in the form of equivalent units for quantities and identifying the cost pools for each element of cost, then cost pool divided by the equivalent units will give cost per equivalent unit, and then finally we have to use that cost per equivalent unit to find out what is the cost of the goods completed and transferred to next process, what is the cost of ending work in progress, that is the valuation of ending work in progress, and what is the value of the abnormal loss. These two things if we can match, one is quantity to quantity, second one is rupees to rupees, process costing is done. It's all about matching the quantity input to quantity output, matching the cost incurred to three different areas: finished goods, ending work in progress, abnormal loss. That's it. That is how it is going to work out. But only difference when we talk about methods here is, in case of first in first out, as we discussed, the remaining work to be done on those opening work in progress has to be also considered. In case of weighted average method, we don't need to separate opening work in progress and units introduced. So we have to compute the cost to complete the opening work in progress and other completed units separately if we are using first in first out method. That's what is mentioned here also. If we are using the first in first out method, naturally, because the assumption is that first opening work in progress is done or complete, then only the freshly introduced materials are worked upon. So that is why the cost to complete the opening work in progress has to be calculated separately, and other cost to complete the other completed units has to be calculated separately. When we do this, naturally the closing stock will be calculated at current cost. Closing stock of work in progress will be calculated at current cost. That's it. That is a common sense point. We know this FIFO method as it is, but earlier we used it for normal units, where we used it for raw materials also. We used it for finished goods for a trader who purchases and sells also. But this is a different scenario, variety scenario, where we are using it for work in progress. Work in progress never happened in the other cases. Only work in progress has more relevance in process costing. So in the work in progress, how to use FIFO method is, opening work in progress is assumed to be worked upon first. Freshly introduced units are assumed to be working on second, latter. That is the basic assumption here, physically speaking. Naturally, the cost also, opening work in progress, whatever the original opening work in progress value is there, that will directly be transferred to the completed units, and whatever the freshly introduced units are there, that has to be split between completed units and closing work in progress. So that is the FIFO method. Once again, to understand it diagrammatically, in case of FIFO method, of course there is opening work in progress or beginning work in progress. This is directly transferred to finished goods, that is, let us say, completed units, and plus freshly introduced units. So fresh units are there, no? Freshly introduced units during this process. These fresh units, they will be considered as partly completed in this period and partly this is ending work in progress. So opening work in progress is never going to be there in the ending work in progress for sure in FIFO. That is why it is FIFO. First in, first out. Opening work in progress is out in the form of completed units. That is FIFO. Now, let us try to work upon this example to understand how we can apply FIFO method for computation of equivalent units under FIFO method. Look at the illustration number 4. Read that carefully. Opening work in progress is 1000 units. 60% already complete, not now, already, earlier. Now, naturally, remaining has to be complete, that is 40%. Opening work in progress cost was 1,10,000. Okay, cost that is. Units introduced during the period, 10,000 units. Cost of this entire process, whatever it is, we are not actually having element-wise costs in this example, but total cost is 19,30,000 rupees. Transferred to the next process is 9,000 units. So closing work in progress is 800 units, which is 75% complete. Normal loss is estimated at 10% of total input, including the units in the process at the beginning. So read it carefully. Normal loss is total input, including the units in process at the beginning. So from that we can find out what is normal loss and how much is abnormal loss. Scraps realize 10 rupees per unit. Scraps are 100% complete, we know that. Using FIFO method, compute the equivalent production, first point, and also not only that, cost per equivalent unit. Also evaluate the output. Evaluate means value. Compute the value of output. Of course, we can do that. But only point in this question is we are not having an element-wise cost. It's okay. All costs are given, put together. Element-wise, we don't need to segregate materials this much, labor this much, overheads this much. Everything is given in one shot. Just for example and understanding of FIFO it is given, that is why element-wise details are not given. So entire cost is given in one shot. But for understanding FIFO, it will be helpful how the equivalent units can be calculated. First and foremost thing, before even writing about equivalent units and all, I would suggest you have to strictly follow this step 1, though it is not given in the answer. Follow this step 1, analysis of physical flow of production units. This is given in theory, but not practically followed in the problems solved in ICI material. But I would suggest first you do this, then only you go to the second step. That will always help. Why? Because that gives us clarity of what has happened. Otherwise, directly doing equivalent production and all becomes more mechanical. First, find out what has happened. What is the flow of the materials that has happened in this case? Okay, first of all, there are 1000 units already in opening work in progress. Forget about equivalent and all. We are not talking about equivalent, just physical flow we are talking. In this 1000 units, adding to that is 10,000 units of new units introduced during this process. Okay, fine. That means there are supposed to be 11,000 units, ideally speaking. Physical flow only we are talking. But how many units are transferred to the next process? First point, 9,000. I am taking 9, that is 9,000. Or let us take it separately, that is easier. Let us split this. 11,000 in this, 9,000 is transferred to the next process, that is clear. Still 2,000 we have to count what happened, but one of them is already known. Closing work in progress is 800, okay, that we know, we got it. Closing work in progress is 800, sir, no problem. That is also clear. But still, what about the remaining 1,200? What happened to them? There we have to find out what is abnormal loss and what is normal loss. What was mentioned here, normal loss is estimated at 10% of the total input, including the units in process at the beginning. So 10% of 11,000 will be normal loss. That means 1100 is supposed to be normal loss. Gone. Loss means loss, gone. So 1000 units are originally there. 10,000 units are freshly introduced. Total supposed to be 11,000. Only 9,000 completed and transferred to next process. 800 are still in the work in progress. 1100 are gone as normal loss. Is it matching? No. Still there is a shortage of 100. Naturally, what would be that? That is abnormal loss. Now we get the tally of 11,000. This you better do as a working note in every question, so that it will give you clarity on the number of units first. That is what is step 1 ideally. It is definitely a useful step. Analysis of physical flow of production units. Doing it will give more clarity on what has actually happened, rather than blindly preparing the statement of equivalent units of production. So first we should understand story. Story, what happened? This is what happened. Okay, 11,000 units are there, which are split into now 9,000 units completed and transferred to next process. 800 is closing work in progress. 1100 and 100 are normal and abnormal losses. 11,000 units, what happened to them? Now we know. That we should first know. Then the second story comes about statement of equivalent production units. And earlier when we had looked at the format, we had elements of cost separately, materials separately, labor separately, overhead separately. But here we don't need. Why? Because cost is given in one shot. So there should be input and units, output, percentage completion, and equivalent units. That's all. So what is the left hand side here? Up to here, this is different. Left hand side, this portion is different. So this portion is what? Particulars and input units. Naturally, opening work in progress and units introduced, 1,000 and 10,000. The total of that will be 11,000. This is one shot. This is one separate portion altogether. Left hand side. This is not an account, by the way. Don't think that this is an account. It is only a statement. So once you are preparing this statement in this format, up to here, you understand this is separate. Right hand side is separate. There is no debit credit. There is no amounts also. This is only a statement. So left hand side, what it will have? Particulars and inputs. That's all. And it will be always the same. There is no big deal in that. So blindly you can just input opening work in progress 1,000 and units introduced 10,000. Total is 11,000. That is there. For this 11,000 only we need breakup. For this 11,000 only we need breakup, which we know in a full units point of view. Now we need to find out equivalent units of that. That is the point. Because we are following FIFO, we have to take one by one from opening work in progress also. Opening work in progress was 1000. This has to be matched. But how much work has to be done in the current process? Read that carefully, because already it was 60% complete. Now we need to complete only 40%, which means the equivalent units are 400 units on opening work in progress, which got completed now during this period. Fresh units will be always 100%, naturally, because total units completed are 9000. In that, 1000 will definitely come from opening work in progress. 8000 has to come from fresh units introduced. Then only the total units completed will be 9000, right? And always in FIFO, once again, beginning work in progress straight goes to the completed units, which means definitely beginning work in progress has to be completed according to FIFO. So 1000 is done. 8000 will be from the fresh units. And how much work has to be done on them? Fresh units, right? Freshly introduced also, freshly completed also. Definitely 100% work has to be done on them. So 8000 is the equivalent number of units for fresh input. So 9000 we have the count now. Out of 11,000, 9,000 we have the count. Let us go to closing work in progress. That is easy. Closing work in progress 800 also we can have count, because as it is given 800 is the closing work in progress, but 75% only complete. 800 into 75% will be how much? That is 600. So equivalent units of closing work in progress is 600 units. Normal loss we already calculated, and it will not have any equivalent units as we already discussed. So 1100 will be only there in the main units column, output column, but not in the equivalent units column. Whereas abnormal loss 100, that also we discussed. Always it will be 100%. So 100 into 100%, 100 is the abnormal loss. So now with this we have the equivalent units: 400 plus 8000 plus 600 plus 100. Total 700 plus 8400. 9100 is the equivalent units what we are talking. Equivalent units, not really completed units. That is the point here. We are converting everything into equivalent units of production. That is what is the purpose of preparing the statement of equivalent units of production. Because we are using FIFO here, from opening work in progress we have taken the remaining percentage work to be done. If it was weighted average, as we will see in the next example, the same one with weighted average, we don't need this part if it is not FIFO. So this part is there only because of FIFO. But the way we calculate equivalent units is always the same. Ultimately, completed units will have to be 100%, naturally, because they are completed. Normal loss should be 0%. Abnormal loss should be 100%. Work in progress closing should be according to the percentage of completion given in the question. Then you got the equivalent units of production, that is 9100 units. That is step 2. If you understand steps, once again, always you follow that will be easier. Step 1 we did it, though it was not in the solution. Analysis of physical flow of production units. We first found out what happened to the inputs and outputs. Clear. Step 2, equivalent units for each elements we should find out ideally, because in this question elements are not given. We found out equivalent unit per cost per equivalent unit. In general we found out. Step 3 is determination of total cost for each cost element. Once again, we don't have each cost element, but total cost we can find out. What is the total cost? Definitely for this period, what is the cost? What was incurred for this period? It is given in the question. That is 19 lakhs 30,000. 19 lakhs 30,000 is the cost related to this period only, other than the opening work in progress. But as we know, since there is a normal loss and a scrap of 10 rupees can be realized, we can reduce the normal loss realization from the cost. So 19 lakhs 30,000 is there. From that we can reduce how much the normal loss would have realized. Normal loss will realize how much? 10 rupees into 1100 units. 11,000 rupees it will realize, which means 19 lakhs 19,000 rupees is the total cost. We don't have element wise here, total only we have. And what is the cost per equivalent unit? Naturally 19 lakhs 19,000 divided by 9,100 units, which is approximately 210.88. Take only 2 decimals. Don't worry about rounding errors. There will be rounding errors. 2, 3 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, not a problem. Don't worry about that. Take decimals. 2 decimals is enough. Cost per equivalent unit is how much now? 210.88 for the work that is done during this period. Now, coming to the overall things that have happened. First of all, we need to evaluate the 9,000 units of completed units. In that, how much is completed during this period? Equivalent units. That is 400. Multiply with the cost of 210 what we calculated, so that is 84,352. But already on them 1,10,000 worth work is done. That is opening work in progress. So opening work in progress cost was 1,10,000 plus 400 equivalent units of work is done during this period on the opening work in progress only with the cost of 210.88. That comes to 84,352. So 1,94,352 is the total cost of 1,000 units of opening work in progress. Now they are complete. Don't think they are still work in progress. They were in opening work in progress. Now they got completed. What is the total cost? 194,352. Out of that, 84,352 has been done in this period. 1,10,000 already done earlier. That is about the 1,000 units we are talking about, which are completed now, but taken from opening work in progress. Remaining 8,000 units are completely done in this process only, this period only, and we know the cost per unit. So 210 into 210.88 multiplied with 8,000, automatically 16,87,040 will be the total cost of completed units. So only for completed units, if we want to see what is the total of these two, that will give the total cost of completed units and transferred to next process. 16,87,040 plus 194,352. So 18,81,392 will be the cost of completed units transferred to next process. But there are abnormal loss also. Of course, abnormal loss is there, 100 units. And we know how to value that. It will be valued at the same cost as the completed units are valued. So abnormal loss of 21,088 can be transferred to the costing profit and loss account. Of course, after reducing 1,000 rupees from that. Why? Because there is a scrap value of 10 rupees for each type of loss. So 100 into 10,000. So if you take effectively what happens to this latter, 21,088 minus 1,000. So 20,088 will be transferred to costing P&L account. That is done. That is abnormal loss. Closing work in progress, equivalent units are how many? Units are 800, but equivalent units are 600 only. We have the cost per equivalent unit already, that is 210.88. We have uniformed the entire cost per unit. All of them are equivalent units. So 600 into 210.88, 126,528 is the closing work in progress. This is closing work in progress value. And if you total all of this, that will be equal to 1,10,000 plus 19,30,000 minus 11,000. Naturally, it should be. You can take the total of all of them. Of course, we have taken the abnormal loss also. Don't take 20,088. 1881, 392 is for completed units. 126,528 is for closing work in progress value. 21088 is for abnormal loss. So what is the total of this? 20 lakhs, 29,008 something. From that deduct 19 lakhs, 19,000. Remaining is 1,10,000, which is opening work in progress. So opening work in progress 1,10,000 plus 19 lakhs 30,000 minus 11,000 is exactly now distributed among what? One is completed units, 2 abnormal loss, 3 closing work in progress. Ultimately, that is what we have been talking about. The essence is always that. One is a physical matching of inputs and outputs. Second is value-wise matching of inputs and outputs. So the beginning work in progress plus the fresh cost that is incurred should be distributed between ending work in progress, completed units and abnormal loss. That is what we have done. Irrespective of the method, the ultimate objective is going to be same. But if we use FIFO method, only the equivalent units calculation will be different. And cost also, opening work in progress will be directly taken. How much pending work is there, only that equivalent units will be considered for cost calculations. That's it. Of course, there will be 8 rupees some error, that is due to rounding because of taking only 2 decimals. Don't worry about it at all. That is one thing you should least bother about in this chapter. There will be some small differences in the rounding and totals, but ultimately is it matching or not, you have to check always. That check should be there. That's it. That is a FIFO, we can say. Now, for understanding, once again it is explained what happened here. The total units completed and transferred as 9,000 units, we know that. Out of them, 1,000 units have been taken from opening work in progress, rest are from fresh units introduced. Yes, that is one thing we understood already. Opening work in progress is 60% complete in respect of costs. That means 40% more work has to be done during the period. Yes, that's what we have done. Then the total cost for all the cost elements for the period is accumulated. Because there are no elements separately, we have taken the total cost. And most importantly, the realizable value of the scrap, that is normal loss, is deducted from the total cost. Then the total cost less realizable value is divided by equivalent units to get cost per equivalent unit. That's what has been done. Once you have the equivalent unit wise cost, then that is multiplied with the equivalent units of different things. What are those different things? Completely processed goods is one, abnormal loss is one, and closing work in progress is one, so that we can get their values separately. That's what we have done. And in case of, because of FIFO, the cost of units completed and transferred is calculated separately for opening work in progress and fresh inputs. The last point happened only because it is FIFO. If it is not FIFO, we don't need that. Automatically it would have been adjusted with the weighted average method. So that is the process of any question will have the similar process. Only difference will be what? Instead of having a total cost, it might have element wise cost. We'll do that also later. But for understanding purposes, the concept of process costing, the concept of equivalent units is the most important. Concept of work in progress is most important. And what is the difference between FIFO and weighted average to be understood is also very important. In case of weighted average, we don't just worry about the opening work in progress at all, because we don't match the opening work in progress with the completed units. So there is opening work in progress, yes. Let us call this beginning work in progress. There are fresh units introduced, yes. There are. All of them will be put together, ultimately transferred to 3 different points. Again same. One is ending work in progress, completed units. If at all there is abnormal loss, abnormal loss. That's it. No separation of beginning work in progress directly coming to completed units. No, this is not done. That is the only difference. So we don't separate or segregate the beginning work in progress. We don't match the beginning work in progress with the completed units like we do for FIFO. So what happens here? All the costs are mixed. The cost of opening work in progress also and the cost of current period are aggregated, and the aggregate cost is divided by the output in terms of completed units or equivalent units. So here, if you observe the cost calculation, opening work in progress 1,10,000 is included here only directly in the completed units. But it is not the case when we talk about weighted average method. All the costs, opening work in progress plus the costs that are incurred during the period, all are aggregated, and computation of equivalent units and all is common. Which step will not be there here? The opening work in progress part will not be there on the right hand side. Left hand side is always common. That is input. Input is reality. What we are calculating on the right hand side, this will not be there in weighted average. This thing can be avoided in the weighted average method. Same way, this thing can be avoided also at the weighted average method. It can be here, it can be introduced at the overall cost level itself. That's it. Remaining things are all same. Percentages and all we have to apply according to whatever is given in the question. So same illustration let us do using weighted average method. That will give us more clarity on this difference also. Once again, left hand side is common, nothing different. Opening work in progress 1,000, 10,000, and total will be naturally 11,000. Yes, this is all common. Again, we don't need physical flow because we already did it for the same example. But right hand side, if you look at units completed is 9,000 directly. We don't care about beginning work in progress and all. How many units completed? 9,000. Yes, 9,000 units completed. 100% completed naturally. So equivalent units are 9,000. Normal loss we know already, nothing new. 1100. Normal loss should be taken 0% equivalent. And closing work in progress we know already, nothing new. 800 multiplied with 75, 600. Abnormal loss also we know already, 100. 100% it has to be always taken. So 100 into 100%, 100 units only. Now the equivalent units are how much? Earlier in the FIFO, the equivalent units came out to be 9,100. And now under weighted average, the equivalent units are 9,700. That is the total. 9,000 plus 600 plus 100. 9,700 is the equivalent units. It's only just an approximation. Doesn't matter. Only different methods are used, that's all. Result will differ because of this. But in case of weighted average method, just units completed, normal loss, abnormal loss, closing work in progress will only be there. As usual, units completed will be taken as 100%. Normal loss will be taken at 0%. Abnormal loss will be also taken at 100%. Closing work in progress according to the percentage given in the question. Here it was 75% complete, so 600 equivalent units. Total is 9,700 equivalent units. Now we don't separate again. All of them are mixed. Opening work in progress cost is 1,10,000. Add cost of the process is 19,30,000. But of course deduct this 11,000, the sale value of the scrap of normal loss. So what is the total cost? Everything is mixed up. Opening is not separate or anything like that. All mixed up. Total is 20,29,000 divided by 9,700 units gives us cost per equivalent unit. This is the cost per equivalent unit according to weighted average method, 209.18. Once we have this cost per equivalent unit, this has to be just split into three items as we already discussed. One is completed units, one is abnormal loss, and naturally one is closing work in progress. How many units are there? Equivalent units for completed units, 9,000 into 209.18, that is this. Abnormal loss 100 into same 209.18, that is this. Closing work in progress equivalent units are 600 multiplied with 209.18, that is this. Total of this, if you calculate, 18,82,620 plus 20,918 plus 125,508. Total will be around 20,29,000. Some 46 is there. That is due to rounding error. So the 20,29,000, whatever is the cost, effective cost, is split like this. How much of that is completed and transferred to next process? How much of this is abnormal loss? How much of that is still in closing work in progress, which goes to next year in the same process account. So we have a physical match. What happened to the 11,000 to 11,000 match? This is one thing we have to do, definitely. That matching we have to do. We have to have a cost match. Whatever the cost incurred, is it matching with the total or not? With a minor difference due to rounding is okay. Otherwise, this is the process of calculating the ending work in progress value and the cost of the units transferred to the next process, and abnormal loss if any. Abnormal gain if any also, on the other side it will be there. So the process of observing the steps is same. So simply speaking, this is process costing in a nutshell. Whatever the size of the question, number of processes, new things may be there, but ultimately the essence of process costing is this. And essence of process costing, definitely the heart of it lies with work in progress. What we did in the earlier session is only just accounting, debit, credit, debit, credit. But now work in progress is the crucial aspect in process costing. Computation of equivalent units of production is important, and these steps have to be kept in mind. And always you can just keep them in mind, back of the mind. That is easier way. Are we following the steps or not? Did we follow them? Check. Step 1, did we follow? Analysis of physical flow? Yes. First we have to do that. Calculate the equivalent units for each cost element. Yes, because there is no cost element, we calculated total cost per equivalent unit, no problem. Then first equivalent units we calculated for total, not for material, labor, overhead separately. But this is quantitative. Step 2 is not monetary. Step 1 is also quantitative without worrying about equivalent units. Step 2 is also quantitative but calculating equivalent units of production, which is quantitative. Step 3 is cost collection, we can say, which will be given in the question, but this has to be done for each element if element wise cost is given. But here, because it was not given, we took the total cost. That you can call cost collection. The cost collection divided by number of equivalent units for each element will give us cost per equivalent unit. Using that cost per equivalent unit, we have to find out the closing values of what is the ending work in progress value and what is the value of the cost of the goods which are completed and transferred to next process, and what is the value of abnormal loss. That's it. Ultimately, that is the objective. That is what we are supposed to do. Matching units to units, rupees to rupees. If we do this way meticulously, there will never be anything that goes wrong. Absolutely, all the things which are given in the question will be matching. For that purpose, definitely care has to be taken. Proper steps are to be followed. Concept definitely has to be thoroughly understood rather than doing it mechanically. Most of the times I understand a lot of people do process costing mistakes because they solve these questions mechanically. Yes, there is a bit of mechanical nature in this chapter, but even while doing so also we should have in the back of the mind, yes, this is what is happening, what is the reason behind it, why are we doing it, that thought should be there. So that is about process costing. The same thing is explained here, particularly for weighted average method. The total units completed are 9,000 units. All 9,000 units have been considered as equally complete in respect of cost. The total cost of cost elements is taken taking opening WIP plus the cost introduced during the period. Realizable value of the scrap has to be deducted. Total cost less realizable value is divided by equivalent units to get cost per equivalent unit. Then equivalent cost is calculated by multiplying this equivalent cost per unit with the number of units of completely processed goods is 1, abnormal loss is 1, and closing work in progress is 1, so that we get the value. That is about equivalent units of production, and using the equivalent units concept by taking FIFO or weighted average method, how to use the steps in process costing in order to finally find out the overall cost of closing work in progress, units completed, and abnormal loss or gain. There are some other special items where there are inter-process profits and all. Those are very special things which we will discuss in the coming sessions. But prior to discussing that, definitely what we are supposed to do is definitely the problems related to this process costing, particularly the equivalent units concept, has to be applied extensively. I would give some time for you to go through these steps very carefully and read them and understand the concept of this very carefully. So yesterday's session introduces process costing. Today's session goes to the core and heart of process costing. As far as the concept of process costing is concerned, these two are the most important things. Understanding these two sessions will give us better clarity on the problem solving of process costing. Problem solving is not the only point. Problem solving can be done anytime. But before going for problems, we should have thorough understanding of the subject. Then becomes easier. Otherwise, we will also do problems mechanically we will do, and that will lead to sometimes wrong answers. So my suggestion is, whatever the questions we have done already, what we have seen and what I have explained already, you practice them on paper. Most importantly, you should practice to write these statements with the format, account, all these things. More practice is required. Once you have that practice and also understand the process of steps involved in process costing, then naturally we can use this concept for solving some of the questions which are given in the end of the chapter. Also we will do them. Also we will do some more questions from past examinations. That will conclude process costing, and it will give us thorough understanding of process costing. But once again I am repeating, It is not about just solving the problems. It is about understanding the concept and having the ability to put pen on paper and write the formats that are required. Statement of equivalent units has a format. Write that format 5-10 times. Same format. You can use it in the exam. Same way, the steps in process costing. Write the steps couple of times. And just process account itself. Just to open the process account just like that. Blank once, and already what we have done yesterday, couple of questions. Put them on paper and do them. If you don't do them, if you watch this process costing, let me tell you, that is completely of no use. This is not a chapter to be watched or listened to. Listening is as important for only understanding the concept, but when you will be able to solve the questions under this chapter is only and only when you do it on paper. There are questions and chapters which are like formula based. For example, materials, or say labor to some extent also, or say marginal costing type of chapters, where those are formula based. Brain is enough. If you have proper brain, remembering the formula, substituting it, enough. There are some chapters where practice is important, not just understanding it. Process costing is that type of chapter. And if we try to follow every chapter same approach because it is me and my style, that is not going to work in chartered accountancy. I already told you. It is more about adapting to the requirement. Of course, everybody has their own style. That is there. Let it be there. No problem. But if the requirement of the topic is like that, we have to step up to that. We have to do according to that. Materials chapter requirement is remember the formula, understand the process and all. Flow, that is only for understanding. When it comes to examination problem solving, bluntly speaking, what is there in that? Just formula, substitution, answer. Labor also, formula, substitution, answer. Like this, certain chapters are like that. Standard costing also more or less like that. Concept is important. But when it comes to solving the problems, it is not going to be like a fresh, completely new thing. If you know the formula, automatically you will be able to solve them. But certain topics, you have to put pen on paper and practice more, then only you will be able to get it. For example, budgets, like process costing, now what we are doing. You have to put them on paper, like contract costing. Same type of topics, these types of topics. It's not just about knowing them. It is about doing them number of times, and most importantly, patiently we should have that ability of writing the accounts which are required, statements with a proper format of presentation. That will not come with watching. And let me once again tell you, process costing is definitely not one of the chapters I would have loved to deliver through this online mode. But because we don't have an option, we are doing it. Why? Because if it is in the classroom, I would have made sure that you are actually putting pen on paper. Since I don't have that choice, now the responsibility is on you. I am telling the guidelines very clearly. This is a chapter where you have to put pen on paper more frequently. So every problem that we discussed, you watch it first, you understand it first, no problem. Later, once again, you watch it and take the ICA material or the questions what we discussed and do them on paper with the proper accounts, not rough work, sir. No, not rough work. That is not going to work for process costing. Other chapters, it is all okay. Just like that, I will do rough work and get the answer. No. Here, you should have practice with proper presentation. Account, if it is asked, like process account, or statement of equivalent units of production, if it is asked. Both of them, you have to put pen on paper, practice them number of times. The blank formats I am talking about. So it is more of a format-based chapter. Format-based chapter, not a formula-based chapter. Understand the difference and adjust yourselves accordingly. If you go blindly in the same way for every chapter, every subject, that will not fetch good results. We all know that. Hopefully, you follow these guidelines and get yourselves acquainted with process costing much better. Then in the next class, we will solve some of the questions related to equivalent units and the actual process costing. All the 5 steps involved that we have learned, we will apply them in many different numerical questions in the next session. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.